Hi everyone! I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm Uma. Well, not the Uma from your world, I'm Uma from the metaverse, and I just wanted to say hi. While the human Uma is used to these presentations, since she has been in the blockchain space full-time since 2016, and she co-founded the reward-based social media app Apix, which has gotten her to speak on over 20 global stages across the world, I'm kind of new to being on stage, but very soon Uma promised me I'll be ready to join you live. All I know is that today Uma wanted to talk to you about the future of content creation. She's really passionate about this topic. I'm not sure why. Anyway, bye for now.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the intro, Uma, and thank you all for listening. Now, this is my first example of the future of content creation, but before we continue, I just really quickly wanted to say that this presentation is not for just people who are creating content. I'm not a content creator in the first place. I'm co-founder, COO of Apix, but really, when you're in business, content creation is for anyone. It's extremely important, and only in the recent few years, businesses started to understand the importance of content creation, and even then, they were almost too late, right? Like now, right now, Web 2, social media, content creation is at its peak, and just now businesses are catching up to it. And so what really everyone needs to realize, and especially if you're in business, is that, there we go, content is the new currency. And so every single person this has an impact on every single person, whether you are a social media figure or you're not. And so most businesses realize this way too late. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve and understand that now as we're moving to Web3 and these new emerging technologies, how do we best create content? How does that even work? What will the next 10 to 20 to 30 years look like? Then it's important to start understanding and unraveling these technologies right now. So by being here at the conference today, I mean, you already kind of understand that, right? Now, while the world of content creation has been evolving very rapidly, it's actually quite hard to predict what the future holds. But one thing is for sure, we're entering an exciting time where technology will continue to shape and change the way we create, distribute, and consume content. Now, with the world of content creation very rapidly evolving, it's actually really, hard to say exactly what it will look like. So, but still, no matter who you are, what you do, it will have an impact on you and your business. And so that's why I'm talking about this today. So the three technologies that I want to discuss today is one, the AI-empowered content creation, and then spatial computing, which is more commonly now referred to as the metaverse. And then we have the importance of blockchain, which I think really is the backbone of all of this. So one technology that is very likely to revolutionize content creation is AI. And as I'm sure many of you know, ChatGPT 4 was just released a few days ago. And for anyone who doesn't know, it sort of has been living under a rock. ChatGPT is the most sophisticated language model that in essence is able to create human-like conversations, and it can generate text, it can hold entire conversations, write essays. And what's interesting is that while its predecessor, the GPT-3 model, scored, I believe it was in the bottom 10% of the American lawyer's bar exam, GPT-4 actually scored in the top 10%. And so that really indicates a huge leap and shift and leap when it comes to the development of AI. Now, in terms of content creation with AI, there are also tools that have become quite popular very rapidly, like the Lensa app, for example, that was able to transform your pictures and got like 25 million downloads within just a couple of days. Then Midjourney, which is also, again, an image generation AI tool. Has anyone of you used this before, like an image generation AI tool? By a quick raise of hands, so I know if you're familiar with it. Yeah, okay, so a couple people started playing around with it. And isn't it fascinating, like when you start to give it some prompts, and just based on what you're giving this AI, it then generates something completely new and something that you potentially could have never even imagined, and then it just creates it by itself. Now, I don't want to get too much into the details of how AI works, but I definitely encourage you to check it out. Now, there has been a huge ethical debate, and that especially within the artistry community, about is AI good? Is it bad? Is it potentially destroying art and the artists, or is it enhancing it actually? And so I just wanted to quickly go over some pros and cons here. So some pros are that anyone really can now be an artist using artificial intelligence. There's also little to no cost involved for the art generation, not maybe the developer, but if you're just using these tools, a lot of them are for free, you can just try it out, and it is very fast. And it can also combine old styles and turn them into new ones. So you could like take a Van Gogh and like a Picasso and say, well, turn this into a new picture, and then it will do that. Now, some of the cons are that AI generators obviously learn from images that previously artists have created in the first place, and they're not being compensated for that work as of right now because it just takes it from the internet. There's no real laws that are protecting the artists, and so a lot of them feel that it's unfair. And artists could potentially lose revenue if people decide that, well, AI art is efficient, I like what it's generating, and if they turn more to AI and not really see the value anymore in the hardship and the craftsmanship of the actual artist, then they could lose revenue. So I just want to raise a brief question. Again, this is a conversation. I want this to be more of like an inquiring, because I don't have all these answers, but a big question here is, who is the artist in the first place? Is it the AI now? Or is it the prompt giver? Is it the artist that the AI learned from? Or all of the above, or maybe a combination? Anyone? What do you think? There's a mic. Because I think it's a quite interesting question to raise, especially when it comes, to content creation. It's important to understand who is the artist now.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah. My name is Hercules Fisherman. On Instagram, HerxF. I work. I'm a live painter, so I do drawing at events, and then I'm turning them into NFTs. And I've started using AI for generating animation from that. So like I would draw like figures, and then I get them to be animated. So there are some demo apps at the moment, AI, that will turn that into animation, and it's got routines for walking, dancing,
right,
whatever. So I use it as a tool. Before I used to do animation. And it would take me a number of days to do something like would take me a couple of minutes,
yeah,
or, a few minutes to do. And probably down the line, I could even storyboard them and make a whole story. And from the drawing I made, in a matter of like 10, 15 minutes, I can have a whole animated story.
Yeah.
So it frees me up as a tool for creativity.
100%, yeah.
I don't see it as the AI is.
Do you then still consider the art made by the machine real art?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's I use it's like the artists use synthesizer in music. Are they is the synthesizer nice. The artist
as a tool?
As a tool,
right?
So it's how you use it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can kind of do. There are other things that are going on which I don't consider necessarily art, but
right.
But they can do that with any tools.
100%. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
and if I told you that this presentation was even made using an AI, would that make me less of an expert? So those are questions we need to start asking ourselves, because AI, yes, like you said, it can be very efficient, right? It frees you up to focus on more important tasks like ideation, strategies, and you don't have to worry about the time-consuming, like sort of mundane tasks that an AI could do. So looking at it more as like an assistant versus something or someone that could replace you, I think is important. But either way, if you think it's good or it's bad, historically speaking, fighting technology has never worked. Oh, sorry, I'm always pressing the wrong one. Oh yeah, right. Also, I wanted to give a quick definition of what is art, and I think that's also something that we should be asking ourselves, right? What is art? And there's two interesting definitions, and one is because there's no true answer to this. It's very much opinion-based. But I like the bottom one, so it's an artifact made for the public to experience, right? So that could be from anyone, by anyone. And the other one, it is an evolution of works that came before. And so AI kind of fits to that. But like I said, no matter if you think that's good or bad, historically speaking, fighting technology doesn't work because technology only evolves, it goes forward, and so we have to find ways to work with those technologies and not against them or find ways to sort of mitigate it because at the end of the day, technology is progressing, and so we can only learn to work with it. And like you said, you know, and while some people fear that AI could replace jobs, it has great potential to make lives and jobs and artists even more creative and enhance that. So that's just my own personal take, but of course everyone, you know, has their own opinions on this. Now another technology that is likely to shape the future of content creation is the open metaverse, you know, that big term. Now, if you really want to understand and sort of get a real glimpse at what the metaverse potentially can look like, I would highly recommend that you read the book or listen to the audio version, The Metaverse by Matthew Ball. And I think it's super difficult to give like a finite definition to something that essentially has unlimited potential and possibilities. But I really like this definition that the open metaverse is a massively scaled and interoperable network of real-time rendered 3D virtual worlds that can be experienced synchronously and persistently by an effectively unlimited number of users with an individual sense of presence, with continuity of data and identity, history, entitlements, objects, communications, and payments. I mean, that is just, I think, mind-blowing. If you think about what the potential is here and that we then create immersive, real-time environments that people can experience, that is what we're working towards, right? And not what the current state is when we're talking about these rather pixelated environments, just because the graphics aren't there and we sort of have to rely on pixel streaming as of right now, but that is what we're moving into. So those are all quite big concepts. One of the things that I find interesting is the identity part, right? Like, what is identity going to look like? Are we going to have one or multiple like we now have in Web 2? Or is that going to change? And so also, how is that going to be verified? Blockchain plays into that, right? Now, to create content for the open metaverse, content creators will need Unreal Engine. Right now, because Unreal Engine is a game engine, first and foremost, that provides a suite of tools to build immersive experiences. And so I would highly recommend to check it out because, again, with Unreal Engine, you can create your own immersive environments, you can start building from scratch, and then with motion tracking, like you saw in the very beginning of the presentation, you're able to move your avatar and potentially even create multiple avatars and environments, and it can even go as far as movies. So with the rise of the open metaverse, Unreal Engine will play a crucial role in content creation. So one of the things is that Unreal Engine does really well is create simulations, and it can do virtual environments and movies, like I said. And motion tracking makes it then realistic, right? So you want to have the facial recognition, and also there's tools like LiveLink that you can use, and real 3D scans to import you into the metaverse. And so if you're interested in, you know, creating content in the next coming years, it would be wise to sort of check out the technologies that are available today already to see what we're already capable of with the current technologies. What's also interesting is that the avatar creation is all of a sudden unlimited, because you don't have to just be yourself. You can be anybody, and you can create so many different storylines. One example I want to give here is a really cool show. It's called Xanadu. Anyone know this? Knows this show? Yeah? Okay, cool. So you should definitely check it out. It's on YouTube. And so this guy right here, he created a metaverse DIY show on YouTube, and basically is all the characters, and he has an entire movie line. It's like it's like a series, right? Because new episodes are coming out, and they're mingling with each other, and like he talks in different voices and like plays different characters. So that's him and that's him, and it's super cool because it kind of showcases the potential of content creation in the open metaverse. Now, another thing that's, I think, really cool, oh, there we go. So this is from a previous presentation that I did, where I wanted to have my Apex studio. And if you think about it, normally, what would it cost to build this kind of studio, right? But in the metaverse, it's actually not that difficult. Once you have the hardware, once you have the technology, you can build pretty much anything you want. You can even build things that don't exist on Earth yet. But I just went for something pretty simple so that I could showcase our metaverse space in the metaverse, which was quite fun. I always press on the wrong button here. So the real benefits here of the open metaverse and starting to use it as a content creation tool is, number one, increased engagement. And increased engagement because you can now create not just immersive, but also interactive experiences. And this has shown studies, I think PwC did a study on this as well, on the effectiveness of virtual reality. But overall, in general, when you're creating immersive experiences where people can join from all parts of the world, and you're in a space together, it just, after a while, it becomes very natural. And I think one guy said, once you get over the motion sickness, right? And by the way, I'm not talking just about the virtual reality glasses and like putting on our AR glasses, but it could also be just on the laptop. Like, I would have never thought that I would enjoy so much hanging out with my friends, like going to a concert or an event that we're now hosting in the metaverse, and it's actually pretty cool. The other one is enhanced creativity, because it provides, well, creators, like you mentioned, with new tools, and it sort of pushes the boundaries for your creativity, because before you were limited by well, what you're capable of doing. Now it's the only limitation is quite literally your mind and your creativity. And so it pushes you to explore different genres as well, without putting too much effort and time into it before you realize, well, that might not be the direction you want to take. And the third one, and that brings me to blockchain finally, is the new revenue streams. Because what does the metaverse look like? What do we want it to look like? And I think that I personally believe, or I know, that the metaverse needs to be decentralized. It needs to be built on a blockchain infrastructure where transactions are happening on-chain in real time. So if I want to buy something, if I want to join a certain space, I can buy tickets, I can purchase NFTs, everything happens on-chain. Virtual goods, real estate, attending virtual events. Oh, there we go, foundation, yes, so blockchain should be the foundation. And we know that it's a secure and transparent transfer and store of digital assets. But what else is the blockchain? And I think not a lot of people realize that it is an insane way to compensate artists. And we've seen a taste of it through the NFT hype, and obviously NFTs have gotten more popular, and that way you realize, well, I can use blockchain to purchase NFTs, and I can sell them, and I can hold them, and I can mint them. Another way, what's really cool is, for example, having a social app where you can you can distribute rewards among different parties. So having creator rewards, having curator rewards, and you're essentially able to reward an entire network of creators. And potentially, once we agree on the AI part, where royalties should go, we could even include that, right? And what I just mentioned about the NFTs, open metaverse again. All of these technologies right now are like they're moving pieces on their own. But the future is going to be very much interconnected. It's going to be also interoperable, meaning that we have different chains that can work together in sync with each other, so that we don't have to have a gazillion wallets and keys, right? So that's what we want to reach in order to get to mass adoption. And so you could have an NFT gallery, for example, where you can showcase your art, but this can quite literally be anything. It doesn't have to be art. And then you can create content within that, and then it can actually become a transaction. So people can then purchase it, and it could be AI generated, and then there's a split. And so I hope you're starting to understand how this can all work very well together. Now, what it also can be used for is verification of ownership, for example, right? So that's an important topic. Like we said in the beginning, I'm not sure if we're going to have one identity or multiple, but either way, there needs to be a way to verify ownership. So blockchain can do that, right? It can also generate a lot of interesting, cool things in the metaverse, like mini games, airdrops, gamifying the entire experience, where you can earn and collect, and you can play, and you can sell and buy. And in general, the word that I mentioned, interoperability, bridging metaverse environments, this is going to be extremely important. And so my hope is that it's definitely going to be on-chain, right? And that we can move between different worlds using blockchain technology as a foundational layer. And not just to incentivize creators and reward content creators and make it more engaging, but also to automate processes and make them more efficient. And also make sure that the distribution that one of the guys on the panel before talked about, that all of that happens on-chain. Now, in conclusion, I just want to say that the future of content creation is bright and full of possibilities. Content creation now is becoming more accessible than ever. And it is an exciting time right now to get into content creation. And like I said in the beginning, you don't have to be a content creator. You are a content creator. So whether you're in business, take this seriously. And with the tools and technologies, content creators can create amazing experiences that will truly revolutionize the way we interact with the world today. So I hope you could take something from this talk and start getting into content creation a little bit and look at what does content creation look like in Web3 and what do we want it to look like, because it hasn't fully been built yet, right? So you can be part of something instead of just a witness. Thank you so much for listening.